Hi, welcome to the Homicide Canada podcast. This is episode 82. In this episode, we're going to talk about Elnaz Hajtamiri, an Iranian Canadian woman, vanishes without a trace from a quiet Ontario beach town. I'm here with Tammy, who's my co-host and also producer of the podcast. Okay. So if you're like a big fan of the podcast, you might say, "Hey, haven't you guys already covered this murder?" And it's true, we have. In case you missed it, episode 45. But yes, there's been some developments in this case, and we figured we revisit it because it's a fairly strange murder, I would say, Tammy.
Yeah, it is a little weird.
Yeah. So there's been some development. So, all right. So in case you missed episode 45, who is Elnaz Hajtamiri? So 37-year-old Elnaz. She's female, just in case you didn't know that from the first name. Originally from Iran, came to Canada in 2018, a year after her husband, I believe it's Farnem Shapufarar, died following an illness. She came to rebuild her life residing in Richmond Hill, Ontario, in case you don't know, a suburb north of Toronto, pretty ritzy one, working as an administrator in imports and exports and volunteering with charitable organizations. So Elnaz Hajtamiri made a complaint with York Regional Police in November 2021 that her former boyfriend, Mohamad Lilo, had been harassing her following their November breakup. Elnaz Hajtamiri was attacked in the garage of a residence on King William Crescent, located in the area of Yonge Street and Bantry Avenue in December 2021. She was struck with a frying pan. She was taken to hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries, which I don't know. I'll say she suffered a cracked skull and required stitches to her forehead. And I've seen, I don't know, you can Google it and see some of the stories. Like, I think there's a picture of the frying pan.
Oh, I haven't seen the frying pan.
And
I've seen
it's
her.
pretty bent.
Oh, jeez.
So, I don't know.
She
if you
was
hit
hit
someone,
hard.
if someone hit someone with a frying pan to bend it a bit, you got to hit pretty hard. And if you see, she's also got pictures of she's basically hit right on the top of her head, and she has a massive amount of stitches in there.
Yeah.
And also, as we said, she suffered damage to her skull in that. So, so it was a cracked skull. So it was a pretty heinous injury. Admittedly, not life-threatening, but not good. So investigators believe was actually a failed abduction attempt that was interrupted when a passerby stepped in. So the two suspects, estimated to be 20 to 25 years old, fled the scene in a vehicle stolen earlier from the area of Finch Avenue and Don Mills Road in Toronto. And the weeks before her assault, the company with which she leased her vehicle found two tracking devices during a routine inspection. And then a third tracking device was later recovered by York Regional Police investigating the assault. So,
that's creepy.
Yeah. So, obviously she breaks up with this guy, and they're putting tracking devices on her car. And, and then attempted abduction, they brain her with a frying pan.
Yeah.
And, and crack her skull. So it's a pretty crazy case, even just beyond a murder. So,
yeah. And on January 12, 2022, Elnaz was forcibly taken from the Wasaga Beach home of a relative in Trailwood Place, where she was staying out of fear of her safety. She was abducted at approximately 8:30 p.m. by three men in balaclavas wearing fake police vests, claiming to have a warrant for her arrest, according to OPP investigators.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. They forced their way into the home and dragged Elnaz into a stolen white Lexus RX SUV. And according to CBC, Lilo, the former boyfriend of Elnaz, hired a private investigator, Brampton-based Investigations Plus, to locate and surveil Elnaz and keep tabs on her location in the days and weeks before she was violently abducted. Investigators with the firm conducted surveillance on January 10th and 11th outside the Wasaga Beach home. Gabriel Kojukaro, the owner of Investigations Plus, said a private investigator had been monitoring the home on the day of the abduction. However, the investigator ended his shift around 6 p.m., roughly 2.5 hours before the abduction, to eat and take his insulin for his diabetes. So that's a little weird that he just happened not to be around.
That's a pretty big coincidence. So some investigators were hired, and that private investigators to basically almost follow her continuously.
And just happened not to be there.
And then, yeah, immediately, like, before the abduction, they kind of disappear. So, yeah, like, I kind of wonder about this. I don't know. I suppose he didn't know any better, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, to get back to it. So, Kojukaro told CBC Lilo initially claimed that Hajtamiri had stolen $100,000 from him and he wanted to find her to serve her with court papers. Lilo's story then changed and he claimed that his brother had been shot. So, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. At that time, Lilo said Hajtamiri may have been involved in the shooting and that she was dangerous, Kojukaro said. That's the private investigator guy. Lilo was charged with criminal harassment in connection to that complaint 9 days after Hajtamiri was abducted. So, yeah, that's kind of strange that he was charged with that sort of like, I guess, harassment. But then, she's been abducted. And so since at that time, since Hajtamiri was abducted, police say she has not been seen or heard from since, and there is no ransom demands.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah. So then on July 12th, 2022, OPP officers went to Lilo's home in Brossard, Quebec, to arrest him for Hajtamiri's kidnapping, as well as attempted kidnapping. I guess that was for the frying pan incident.
Yeah.
And then attempted murder in connection to the assault in Richmond Hill, alleged assault in Richmond Hill. On the 1-year anniversary of the abduction, the OPP and York Regional Police announced a joint $100,000 reward for information that will lead investigators to her whereabouts and those responsible for her abduction. So Ariyasat Singh was arrested and charged on April 12th, 2022 in connection with the alleged attack. And that was for the abduction, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then in November, that guy, Singh, he pleaded guilty to aggravated assault. He was deported in December.
Yeah.
So she's been abducted.
Yeah.
She hasn't been heard or seen from since. And then, this guy just pleads to aggravated assault and then gets deported. But like, we'll get into it later in the case.
Yeah.
But like, no one's seen her since. Like,
no.
When we're recording this, like, she's probably like, like dead. And
yeah.
and then
somebody knows something.
Yeah. And obviously he just gets an aggravated assault charge and deported in that. All right. And so Harshdeep Binan, another person, was charged with attempted murder and attempted kidnapping. Both he and Riyasat Singh, the guy I just mentioned, were also charged early 2022 in connection to pickup truck thefts in the Edmonton area. So Singh also pleaded guilty to the truck thefts.
Yeah, they get around.
Yeah. Yeah, different provinces.
Yeah.
All right. So then there's some other people. So Harshpreet Sekon, Jaspreet Singh, and Akash Rana, they were charged with aggravated assault and conspiracy to commit an indictable offense. And at the time, a Canada-wide warrant was outstanding for Sukhpreet Singh, 22 of Mississauga, for aggravated assault and a conspiracy to commit an indictable offense. So there's a lot of people charged here.
Yeah, but not with murder.
Not with murder. Yeah.
Yeah. The people who were charged in connection to the January 12th abduction in Wasaga Beach are as follows. On November 9th, the Ministry of the Attorney General charged Mohamad Lilo with first-degree murder. So there's the first murder charge. OPP Detective Martin Graham said Lilo's case is before the courts and subject to a publication ban. He did confirm that Lilo had a shipping container business and he was responsible for the movement of containers to and from Canada to all parts of the world.
And that was Elnaz's former boyfriend.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's the only one who's been charged, I think, like...
with an actual
murder
charge.
Yeah.
And also, like, that just seems fishy. Like, why would they say, oh, there's a publication ban, but this guy owned a shipping container business? Seems weird to me, but
I guess, like, the one thing, too, is that with the murder charge, like, we don't really know too much, but, like, there's these other people that were charged with the kidnapping.
Yeah.
Maybe in theory they delivered her to him, and then maybe that, like, in theory, maybe that was their only role. Like,
maybe.
But,
yeah.
So the whole thing is pretty strange.
Yeah. Crystal Lawrence was arrested on March 16th and charged with kidnapping. Dominique Ewan was charged with kidnapping, fraud, and possession of property obtained by a crime. Adam Suleiman Ankama was arrested on May 24th and charged with kidnapping, possession of a firearm or ammunition contrary to prohibition order, possession of a prohibited or restricted firearm with ammunition, unauthorized possession of a firearm, careless storage of a firearm, prohibited device or ammunition, and acknowledge of unauthorized possession of a firearm and possession of proceeds of the property obtained by a crime. It's a mouthful of
A lot of charges.
And a warrant has been issued for the arrest of Deshaun Davis, who is 35, of Toronto.
So, yeah. So, like, her boyfriend, he gets the first-degree murder charge at the time.
At the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, a whole host of people that have been charged with
Everything else.
Yeah. So, all right. So then the reason why we're doing this podcast, because, like, you could say, like, why are you, like, you already did an episode on this homicide. Why are you doing this again? All right. So has been a major development. So Elnaz Hajtamiri's former boyfriend, the aforementioned Mohamad Lilo, has accepted a plea deal. His lawyer, Stephanie Marseille, I don't know if that's pronounced correctly, told CBC News on May 5th, 2026. As part of an agreed statement of facts, Lilo admitted that he helped others track down Hajtamiri after she ended their relationship. The court heard that Hajtamiri was aware of Lilo's role in a stolen vehicle trafficking operation, and members of the criminal organization viewed her as a threat who could go to police. Now, remember, we said at the top that she worked in import-export. So, yeah. And obviously, Lilo had
worked in import-export.
Import-export and had a shipping container business, which I don't know if you've been following stolen cars in Canada the last 10 years in that. There's a lot of and he lived in Brossard, which I think is a suburb of Montreal.
Yeah.
There's, a lot of cars leave through Montreal, the port system, and stolen cars and that. So it was always interesting, I think, like, and this was rumored before he was arrested, that, like, why did this guy, Lilo, care so much about her and that? Like, admittedly, he wouldn't be the first, former partner to, like, kill their former female partner because she broke up with him and that. But in this case, it did seem a little weird that there's...
And he went to such lengths.
He went to such lengths. Like, like, he,
weird.
like, had, like, hired a private eye and then, was putting tracking devices on her car. And, it just seemed to, like, why so much effort? I mean, like, the other thing is he wasn't with her for that long.
No.
So,
but she knew too much.
She knew too much. So it always seems strange in that sense where, like, it could have been he was obsessed with her and that, but it did seem like, well, this didn't seem like a run-of-the-mill, like, broken relationship or something like that where the one guy's obsessed. It just seemed like weird that, this guy would go this late. So now we know, obviously, where he's been arrested in that. So, all right, let me get back to where I was going there. Okay. So the court also heard that tracking devices had been placed on Hajtamiri's SUV and that several men were promised approximately $50,000 for helping monitor her movements in the weeks leading up to her abduction. So then Lilo pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit kidnapping in exchange for first-degree murder charges being dropped. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison for that offense. So, I don't know. That seems fairly crazy to me in that sense that, like, I think maybe one problem is that they don't have a body.
Yep.
And, she hasn't been seen since. She was, like, attacked once and then, several months later abducted and disappeared in that. And, he was facing first-degree murder charges. And it's, I don't know, if you follow our podcast, you could just know, first-degree murder charge in Canada, it's 25 years to life. And, like, 25 is the minimal that you would... Like, even with good behavior, you're still doing 25 years in prison.
Yeah.
And then he's getting, like, only 4 years to commit conspiracy, or he's only getting 4 years for conspiracy to commit kidnapping.
Yeah.
And the 4 years, I think, I don't know, I forget what it is, 2/3 that, you serve your sentence in that, you could get out in that. So she's dead. Like, we can't prove she's dead.
No.
But I think it's pretty clear she's dead.
Yeah.
And I would bet on it for sure, in my opinion. And this guy... it's crazy. Like, he went from like doing that. So, so he's sentenced to 4 years in prison for that offense. And then in a separate case, he was also convicted of aggravated assault for the 2021 attack on Hajtamiri and received a 6-year sentence with credit for time already served. So he actually got more time for the frying pan incident than he'd got for, like, her disappearance on the second time.
Yeah, so, seems crazy.
Yeah, so as we said, like, she disappeared in January 2022 after being abducted from a home in Wasaga Beach by 3 men posing as police officers. And also, like, she was hiding out at her friend's place.
Yeah.
and she hasn't been found, and multiple other people continue to face charges connecting to disappearance. So another man pleaded guilty in connection with the attack on Elnaz Hajtamiri. So that was, I think we mentioned before. So Sukhpreet Singh, so he admitted to aggravated assault for his role in the December 2021 parking garage attack in Richmond Hill, which police said was a failed kidnapping attempt. So yeah.
He's the only one that's actually admitted.
Yeah, and then Singh had been on the run for 3 years before being arrested in Texas and extradited to Ontario.
Yeah.
So, and then as part of his plea deal, he received credits for 18 months already served and is expected to be deported to India. Authorities believe she is dead, so it's not just us. Singh's cooperation with investigators also contributed to the former boyfriend Mohamad Lilo's murder charge being dropped in exchange for his guilty plea to conspiracy to kidnap. So I don't know. Like the one thing is that, as we mentioned earlier, there's still all these people that have been charged. And I guess they haven't made their way through the system. Well, some of them, I guess, have been charged or convicted or and been deported. A couple of them. But there's still a bunch of other ones in that. But at the end of the day, she's still dead. There's still
nobody's charged with her murder.
No one's charged with her murder.
Or really anything
of consequence.
Significance. Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, it's pretty wild. So I'm a little surprised too, is that often, when he was charged, Lilo, the former boyfriend, was charged with first degree murder, got it dropped to, I guess, conspiracy for kidnapping, and only 4 years in that. And usually there's oftentimes you'll have to say what happened in that or who was involved, but there's not much. And I guess
because it's a ban still, right?
Yeah, and I guess what it's saying is as far as I can tell, he had this business in Montreal, he shipping containers, so sketchy right there. He's obviously, well, I'll say
moving things.
Yeah, obviously, I would say, in my opinion, he was moving stolen cars, and that's his business, or was part of his business in that. And then, I guess she knew about it. I don't know, she worked for him, and then was his girlfriend.
Yeah,
and then there's all these other people. So they're obviously it's a part of a bigger criminal organization potentially in that. And so they were the ones that thought she was I guess loose lips sink ships. But yeah, it's still so I don't know. I guess the fact is the case is still ongoing in that, but it's odd that Lilo was the one who hired the private investigator.
Yeah.
So to me it seems like he was the one who was
he was the one who was worried.
Yeah, and also the instigator and making everything happen in that. And then there's been this whole horde of all these other people who have been charged in that, and including a couple of women. I'm not saying that women can't be criminal masterminds as well, but who are these people? And and what's gonna she's disappeared, and is anyone actually going to go down for this murder?
Who knows?
Who knows? So that's basically it's a strange case. It was strange when we covered it a while ago. We kind of know more now, and then
a little bit,
and then that guy, Lilo, is serving 4 years. It's I don't know. It seems crazy to me. So, anyways, our sources were CBC News and InSimco.com, CB24, New York Regional Police. But this was a very strange case, and I don't know. I guess there's still more coming. We'll keep following all these because there was a lot of people that have been charged with this, and a few have been already sent back to India. But it's just a crazy
weird
case. So, all right, so that was our update, I guess, on Elnaz Hajtamiri, and so what more can I say? All right, and if basically what we always say too is you want to go to homicidecanada.com. Try to have a page for every murder. I also have provincial municipality pages. We're on social media, so Instagram, Facebook, just search Homicide Canada will come up. Our Facebook page is gets a lot of traffic and it gets a lot of comments in that. So most of the people comment good stuff, people comment bad stuff. But
we can't make everyone happy.
Yeah, exactly. We're on Twitter or X, homicide_Canada. We also have an email, info@homicidecanada.com. You can always email us there. So until next time.